Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen, looking at the updated roadmap for Alpha 3.8, the end of 2019 patch, expected mid-December this year. The patch has inherited a lot of 3.7's features and expanded out a lot of new ones. As I understand it as well, Alpha 3.8 represents the first patch really truly on Star Citizen's new staggered development model, as 3.7 is sort of like just a cut down patch because of the staggered development. This should see the patch being more playable and refined than previous patches. There may still be changes and a bit of gearing up, so bear that in mind, but I am expecting much more playability out of the patch. If you don't know what I'm talking about with staggered development, or you want to know what happened with the changes in 3.7, then please check out some previous videos, which I will link down below. Probably the feature I'm most looking forward to in this patch is the new job role and gameplay loop of Salvage, the first iteration of it anyway. At this stage, it will be able to give players the ability to collect material from ship hulls, both by hand and by ship. Players can scan the environment to find salvageable debris, and once harvested, they can then sell those materials at a kiosk. There's a huge amount of location-based updates and additions and features in this patch. They are vastly improving the behavior of access around restricted areas with a more natural, less obtrusive system. Hopefully. This will include landing splines, allowing the air traffic control systems to open up paths for players to enter the restricted area and then fly to the landing pad with guidance there. These areas will become more natural and won't require obtrusive materials to show their presence as much. They are adding security systems that control who has access to certain areas and objects based on factors like reputation, ownership, keycards, what faction you belong to, what party you are in, what mission you're doing. It will automatically issue warnings to people breaking the law, and if ignored, will flag them as criminals to security forces in some cases. This will lead to better systems for law and general permissions in the future, as well as the sort of like potential here to start phasing out armistice zones, relying instead on laws and defenses, which are sort of what a lot of the other features in 3.8 support. Lots of the Planetary Tech improvements are coming here as well. They've been moved out of 3.7 and put into 3.8. This is all part of the sort of updates for the V4 of CIG's Planetary Tech that they are deploying. Planetary Fog Tech is here, adding varying layers of fog on planetary terrain to add sort of depth, but also for a sort of higher fidelity. They've improved large-scale terrain shadows, so shadows can be cast at massive ranges over terrain and from ships and from mountains and that sort of stuff, but also much more efficiently, so it doesn't cause terrible client problems having billions of ships flying around a planet. Maybe not billions, that's a slight exaggeration, but you know what I mean, all casting shadows on the ground. There's atmospheric tech improvements, including various stability improvements to reduce certain artifacting that might occur, and the incorporation of additional density layers to capture effects like an ozone layer at high altitudes. This is going to result in more natural looking skies and sunsets and that sort of stuff on planets. Planet microTech is still planned for 3.8. This is a icy, snowy, sort of like frozen sea type biomed planet with Nordic forests and some greenery. It is very cold and icy though, and may have areas that require environmental gear or are very cold and cause damage to players if they are not appropriately dressed or in a ship. The first version of New Babbage is planned for here as well, and this is the premier landing zone on the planet with a limited version of its domed city, so they're going to add and open up more of the city at a later date, but in 3.8 we're going to see a smaller amount of this sort of like domed, greenhoused, cold city that has bioengineered plants inside its domes, various shops, transit network. We should see the main sort of like premier microTech store surrounded by some shops in the main plaza. I believe that's the main thing that they're putting in for 3.8. There's also a mission giver planned for the location here too, Eddie Parr, which will give you a range of missions, and a clothing range for both the inhabitants of microTech, but also players that want to then purchase those clothes, new threats, new armor, that sort of stuff. They talked about some environmental gear, potentially to protect you in the sort of like cold, or at least at this stage it will look like it protects you in the cold. microTech has 4 moons as well, which are all listed for being added and completed for the patch 2. It's been stated by CIG that they are planning to get server-side object container streaming in for Alpha 3.8 if possible. So that's their target. It's also my understanding that microTech and its moons require this to actually be able to be in the patch. So server-side object container streaming allows CIG to expand its gameplay area out more than it currently is. At the moment, they are entirely bottlenecked on the server to add any more gameplay area. Server-side object container streaming allows for areas of the server to be put on standby, the data saved and then loaded in and out seamlessly based on player proximity. If server-side object container streaming is not ready for the release, then it is likely that microTech and its moons and that gameplay area will get pushed back to 3.9. Rest stop interiors for stations were pushed back from 3.7 to 3.8 as well. In 3.8, we will see new rooms, new assets, new bits and interiors of space stations, and we'll see these large atriums and hab areas and engineering areas, places that components could potentially go, and these should more appropriately reflect the exterior of the station in the interior as well. I'd also expect just generally bigger interiors for a lot of the space stations and rest stops that we currently have. There's a huge amount of AI features now sitting in 3.8, which are incredibly important for the game and we have needed for a long time. For social AI, there's bartender and shopkeeper behavior archetypes being added. So basically, we're going to see NPCs and vendors having a huge new set of animations and interactions with both players and other NPCs. We should see them more actively looking like they're working behind the bar or in their shop, rather than just being static as well. This is going to help bring the game to life. FPS AI-wise, there's cover usage that will have NPCs using appropriate cover based on the area they are in and if players are engaging them. This is going to allow them to use various types of full or partial cover, like little boxes, big boxes, doorways, that sort of stuff, and should have them working out where it is and when it is appropriate to push or move between cover. We are also going to see a large variety of weapons and gear loadouts for NPCs as well at this stage. Expect them to have the same sort of range of weapon and loadouts that players can have, really, and then use those weapons appropriately for engagements and ranges. And for ship AI, we have some really important items. 3D pathfinding v2, allowing AI ships to pathfind using physics grids and the new flight model. This is going to have them using data to move around the verse without ramming asteroids and knocking into other assets and other ships. They're going to be aware of planetary bodies and asteroid fields and points of interest and places where quantum travel may occur. This allows for smarter and more challenging AI as well, such as ace pilot behaviors, which are also here. We should see AI ships using the decoupling function, be a bit more smarter in combat, being able to use lots of different tactics. They're going to change their behavior based on their loadout, their allies' loadout. They'll be using the environment in their tactics. We'll see advanced gunship defensive maneuvers here as well. Basically, this just has the NPCs moving the larger ships so that they don't take critical damage so much. They are smarter when they're trying to recharge their shields. They're going to try and keep enemies in their firing arcs when appropriate, and then fly defensively and sort of show you a different side of their ship that isn't so beaten up if you are just pounding one area of it. The FPS experience is getting some improvements too, better death animations, blending them with physical ragdoll simulation. They're also adding close combat mechanics, so takedowns, melee attacks, stealth kills. The ability to use both melee weapons and bare hands will be here. For FPS weapons in general being added, they are adding the verified off-world laser technologies Parallax assault rifle and Apocalypse Arms Animus missile launcher, which I'm very much looking forward to. The Bearing GP33 grenade launcher, quite looking forward to that. Anything that's explosive sounds cool. The Lightning Bolt Co. Atcav, I have no idea how to pronounce that, Electron sniper rifle. And for ships, we also have revisions to the size 1 to 3 Class Inverner sledge mass drivers. With that in mind, there are actually quite a few ship updates, lots associated with new HUDs and cockpit experience sort of stuff, making that a lot sharper and closer to final intention. There are improvements to the player cockpit experience, adding more visual and audio effects to reflect the state of the ship, along with more immersive interactions, giving the player more to interact with, and everything's going to be feeling a bit more tactile, as I understand it. There is additional work on the vehicle HUDs to support the storing and management of scan results. Sort of advanced scanning and pinging features are going to be added. Generally, just having a better interface for the HUDs and scanning. Obviously, scanning is incredibly important for exploration in Star Citizen, but generally navigating around the universe and finding things hugely important. I mean, it's going to be part of almost every gameplay loop. Some ships are going to see annunciator panels, which will sort of show you critical information about onboard systems at a glance, alerting you to power failures, approaching missiles, quantum failures, and other potential hazards or risks. Although I quite like the idea of these, I do think just a thing on the HUD just to show you probably might be better. Just not having lots of little buttons or lights or whatever, just have it showing on the HUD in a little area that shows you what's happening there. I suppose if you have loads and loads and loads and loads of different things happening while having power failures, there might not be enough room for that. So well, that's just my thoughts on that. We have ship-to-ship docking planned here too. This feature allows smaller ships to dock in larger ships while in space, though it may also allow ships to literally dock to each other with their docking ports potentially at this stage too. We'll have to wait and see whether that's going to be here or a bit later, the actual port-to-port docking. Ships-wise, we have the Xperia Prowler in 3.8. The ship is the first of our ship we have in-game, and it is a stealthy EVA drop ship with cool little shield tech allowing the ship to be pressurized while it's sort of like Marines leave, which is pretty cool. Both the Cutlass Red and Blue are here, medical and combat police variant respectively. It's interesting to see these. I want to know if they've made the Cutlasses entirely modular, which I suspect they have now. So maybe you'll be able to just switch out the central module. The most exciting ship for me coming out in 2019 is still planned for here, the Anvil Carrick. It's a large yet compact exploration ship that's going to be very suitable for a wide range of mission running, as it's got a vast range of facilities, medical and drone bays, a snubcraft and rover, as well as powerful scanners and room for up to 6 crew. So it's great to be using it with mission sharing and lots of missions that we're going to have in 3.8. Interestingly as well, the Miss Hull C is here, but ship-to-station docking is not. So let me explain. The Hull C is a big cargo hauler that can expand out and attach cargo boxes to its spindles. A while ago, CIG said they needed to get the multi-grid physics tech and morphing animations for the ship working, as well as getting updated cargo features that would cater for larger boxes so that the server doesn't have to track tens of thousands of small boxes for cargo on ships, rather larger boxes. Great, that's less entities and that's less things it needs to track. This was also needed in addition to sort of like being able to have the Hull C expanded and then cargo laden, so all of its spindles covered in cargo, then need to be able to have it land or, well, dock with something else, because as far as I understand, the ship can't land when it is cargo laden, so it has to dock with a station to be able to transfer and buy and sell cargo. So without that, I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work in game, so we'll have to wait and see. And that's it for 3.8 at this stage. They may add some more features, some more stuff might get moved around. That's true of the roadmap in general. Obviously, with the new way they're doing their staggered development, having features move out of a patch is less likely to occur, but there are some features that they are trying to work out where they should be placed at the moment, and they did say they were mid-planning with the roadmaps with this at the moment, so just bear that in mind. Stuff might move around. If you've got any questions about any of the features that we discussed in this video, then please drop them in the comments below. Do you think they're going to make 3.8 a genuinely good playable patch, or do you think it's going to be bug-ridden like so many of the other alphas we've had? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For September 2019, it's for an Anvil Carrick, the mighty exploration ship. It is being donated by the organisation Ultra. They are a chaotic, neutral, multi-role org where they encourage their members to focus on their speciality and find their speciality, and they provide them the freedom to play however they want. In Ultra, you're not just another drone, you become part of a family is the idea. Links below to check them out. They are recruiting. To be in for a chance of winning that ship, just comment on any of my videos made during September though. A random comment will be chosen as the winner. More details below. I am also shilling for NordVPN and Shadow gaming PCs, so use the code BoredGamer for discounts there. NordVPN, in a world of censorship and privacy issues, VPNs allow you to browse the net and play games in more safety. NordVPN has many benefits over free VPNs, and that's why I shill for it. Some of you also might be interested in Shadow cloud gaming stuff. This allows you an alternative to sort of like buying and maintaining your own gaming PC. You can stream a custom Windows 10 environment to devices like your phone, a laptop, or a crappier, lesser PC, and bam, it's fantastically powerful, and it's maintained, and hardware is regularly updated for you. It's a fantastic service, Shadow. Cloud gaming certainly has quite a big future ahead of it. If you'd like to further support my channel, please consider subscribing, sharing this video, ringing the YouTube bell so you get notifications when a video goes live. This is a channel that is funded by the community via donations, Patreon members, YouTube members, and anyone else that wants to get involved with comments and helping. Thank you to everyone that goes the extra mile. Take care, and I will see you in the verse.